here we go. Okay, folks, I'm Seth Holden. We're here with Patrick Smith. Patrick, tell us a little bit about your company.
Like Seth said, my name is Patrick Smith. I'm with Ace Exterminating, and I'm a supervisor in the wildlife department. We've been in business for 26 years. The wildlife department has been in existence for the past 5 years.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to talk a little bit about wildlife control issues today. So, Patrick, what kind of things should homeowners look for in a wildlife control company?
Well, the biggest thing is promptness, honesty, integrity. When you're going out there, you're dealing with live animals, and there's a lot of misconceptions of what animals can and can't do in people's homes and stuff of that nature. The bottom line is we're out there just to solve people's problems and to make sure to keep the animals out. The biggest part of really wildlife control is not really the trapping, but the exclusion work when dealing in people's homes because of the damage that they actually do.
Okay, interesting. So let's talk a little bit about that. What are some common problems that that you see on a day-to-day basis in wildlife control issues?
Well, right now, this time of year, it's squirrels. Squirrels getting in people's attics. Believe it or not, raccoons get in people's attics and skunks get in people's crawl spaces. They'll dig holes around the foundations. Squirrels cross the lines, or a squirrel can actually just go straight up a house and get into, they like to run the lines in the gutters, and then they'll find a little soft spot. And what they'll do at that point in time is they'll start to chew. But the biggest problem is once they gain access to the attic, is they cause a lot of damaging in the wiring, and plus their defecation up there, and it causes diseases, things of that nature.
Okay. All right. So is there anything that a homeowner can do to kind of get more peace of mind about these types of issues?
Well, once they call us, what we do is we'll come out and we'll do a complete inspection from the crawl space all the way to the attic. We'll walk the roof line. We'll see where the problems are and where they exist. And then what we'll do is we'll put a comprehensive bid together explaining what is the problem, do they still have live animals in their attic or in their crawl space, and how we can get them out. And then once we get them out, what we're going to do to keep them out. And that's where the exclusion work comes in.
Okay, exclusion work. Let's talk about that. So the question I was going to ask is what can you do to prevent it? Can you tell me a little bit about what you guys do with exclusion?
Well, when you get in a person's crawl space, you go up underneath there. Basically, the first thing we do is we shut the door behind us. We shut off our lights and we look around. Anytime you see light in a dark crawl space, that's an access point for a wild animal. So by going in and looking for these forms of indicators, whether it be up in the attic or down into the crawl space, those are good indicators. Light inside. We have to really gain access to the inside of the house. We like to be there when the homeowners are, because a lot of times they'll call and just say, hey, can you come by and look? Well, when you're on somebody's property, you're just walking around the outside, it's really difficult to try to find access points. And what you're doing at that point in time, it's not really a guessing game unless you find the actual hole. But when you get up inside the attic, you find their nesting areas. You find where they defecate. You might find the smells of where they've been nesting, or having a litter of pups or something of that nature. Especially in squirrels down in the crawl spaces. You get a lot of animals that will get up underneath it. People have what's called these moisture barriers up underneath their houses. They like to get up underneath those moisture barriers. I've been under a house one time, and all of a sudden I saw this animal moving. It was a skunk, but I didn't see the skunk. I just saw the skunk going underneath the plastic. And the only reason I knew it was a skunk because I could smell him.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay, so what kinds of tools and technology do you use for wildlife problems?
Well, we have a lot of tools to our advantage, but the basic thing is common sense. There's one way in and one way out. The main thing is that you can set traps to get them out. You can set traps inside the house to get them out. We like to put the traps on the outside of the houses. In other words, they're called one-way funnels. We take all their access points away and give them one way out if we can't actually catch them by grabbing them or putting them in a bag or something of that nature. A lot of times when you're dealing with a wild animal, you're dealing with something that can be very unpredictable. So what you want to do is you just want to leave them in their environment, let them walk their way out. But by walking their way out, they're walking their way into a trap.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So let's expand about that actually. What kinds of risks are homeowners facing with these types of problems that they should be concerned about?
Well, the biggest problem in wildlife is when they start making their homes in your home. It's they live in their own feces, they live in their own urine, things of that nature, and that can cause problems with um, diseases, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know anybody who enjoys having wildlife problems in their home and property, so I'm sure you see that every day. So, can we talk a little bit about the services you provide? Is there anything anything else that somebody should look for in a service provider? Do you have any topics that you'd like to talk about in terms of fair pricing, your pricing model, that type of thing?
Well, when we come out, we'll give all of our pricing and everything up front. The only time that we ever come back to a customer is anything that's unforeseen, but we try to explain that from the very beginning. Um, when we give when we give a quote, a lot of people are wondering, do we relocate the animal or do we euthanize the animal? That's very important to a lot of homeowners. So most of the animals, actually the majority of them, we relocate. Um, we don't like to get into the euthanasia of animals. Sometimes by law we have to, especially when it deals with skunks.
Mm-hmm.
But you're just dealing with situations that, as they arise, it's just a matter of just being open, have good communication with the customers, explain to them what we do and how we do it. We try to give an honest and a fair price. We want to be able to make money, but we also want to be able to save the customer money because what we're looking for as a customer is a very long-term customer, whether it be for pest control, termite, mold, or wildlife service. We offer a whole genre of business.
Okay, perfect. So, do you guys deal with a lot of emergency calls? How long does it take for you to get there if there's a problem right now, that type of thing?
Yeah, a lot of times we'll get a lot of calls and we'll get birds in people's houses, or we'll get a bat in somebody's house, or we'll get a skunk up underneath a house. One time, got out to a lady's house. She had skunks up underneath her house, and she was just freaking out. And the thing is when they start really nesting, and these females put out their scent, it brings every male skunk in the county to them. And all of a sudden you get this major highway, and a skunk can ruin a home very, very fast. Our response time is generally pretty fast. We can get out there generally within the same day. We try to make ourselves as available to the customer when they're going to be home, because a lot of times we can go to somebody's house, but if we don't get proper access to the house, uh, it's no good for anybody. We can go up underneath the house, we can go around the house, but sometimes the problem is up in the attic and we need to gain access. And as long as they're there, we can get there generally with 1 or 2 hours.
Okay, that's good. I like to hear those stories. So let's real quick rattle off your phone number in case anybody has a problem right now. What's the phone number to call?
Well, calling Ace Exterminating for wildlife control would be 876-7185, area code 615.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'll throw you a little bit of a curveball question here. What is maybe the most unexpected or craziest or weirdest thing you've ever seen in dealing with these types of problems?
Well, one morning I woke up and I had a moose staring me down. No, that's just a joke. No, generally, finding raccoons in attics and the things that they can do, or going into a crawl space or staring down a skunk, because if you get them cornered, they're going to spray you. And the last thing my wife wants me is coming home smelling like a skunk, and then I got to undress on the back deck, which my neighbors don't appreciate.
Uh-huh.
The thing is just protecting ourselves, from bites. A lot of times we deal with snakes. You got to be careful with snakes. Snakes are protected, and we want to make sure we relocate them properly, and we want to handle them properly, pick them up, get them in a safety bag. We want everything that we do to be safe, not only for the animals that we deal with, but safe for ourselves as well.
Perfect. Okay, so hit me with the number one more time, and then I'm going to ask you if you have any specials or deals.
Area code 615-876-7185. That's Ace Exterminating.
Okay, perfect.
Division.
So in terms of wildlife services, do you guys have any offers or anything like that going right now?
We're constantly running different types of coupons. We send out flyers all the time, things of that nature. But right now, probably our biggest thing that we got going is a $25 coupon off. But if they have collective services, in other words, the best way they're going to, when we come out and we sell one service, we like to tell everybody about our whole package that we offer. Okay? But the biggest thing you can do is go to aceexterminating.com. I'm sorry, aceexterminating. What's the website? aceexterminating.info. I keep saying .com. I'm not used to the .info. But if you go to www.aceexterminating.info, you can go to the website and click on the link, and it gives you a list of coupons.
Okay, perfect. And hit me with that number one more time.
615-876-7185.
Perfect. Well, Patrick, thanks for your time today, and I hope you have a good afternoon, and we'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Seth.
Okay.